Today we'll be taking a topic that is striving for excellence in all things. Striving for excellence in all things. We've shared something similar to this before, some time past. So now let's start. Let's first understand what is the meaning of excellence. What is the meaning of excellence? I would like us to respond. I would like this class to be interactive. I'm not a preacher. I'm just facilitating. I'm a facilitator. So we'll all be participating. What is excellence? What is excellence? Maybe those of us in sciences are not so good in English, but those of us in arts can help. What is excellence? Should I call names? What is excellence? Yes, ma'am, please.
Whatever it is that you're doing in perfection.
Okay. Any other view? Anyone else have anything to say? What is excellence? Sister Bridget. Yeah, okay, Sister Toby.
To perform exceedingly above.
Okay.
To be outstanding.
To be outstanding, okay. When I was trying to prepare, I checked the dictionary, and Merriam-Webster dictionary defined it as the quality of being extremely good or outstanding in all things. So it means when you are excellent, it means that in everything that you do, you perform exceedingly good. There's good, and then there's exceedingly good. So you'll not just be average, but you'll be above average, well above average. You'll be exceedingly good. When in grading marks, from, I don't know how it is in Univen, but from 75 upwards, that is 75 upwards in Univen is cum laude, right? That's what they call it, yeah. So that's an excellent performance. But when you get anything below that, I don't think it will be classified as excellent. It might be classified as very good, for example, and maybe something below that might be good. But when you have a cum laude, for example, in any of your modules, it means you have done excellently well, right? Okay. Now, what does the Bible say? The Merriam-Webster dictionary also classifies excellence as a virtue. And it defines virtue as something that is of a commendable quality or trait. So it means it's a virtue. It's something that people will want to aspire to have, right? It says virtue is something that is a commendable quality or trait. Now let's look at Philippians 4:8, and let's see what the Bible says about virtues. Philippians chapter 4 verse 8. Since the dictionary has classified excellence as a virtue, let's see what the Bible says about virtues. Is it something good? Is it something we should aspire to have or not? Philippians chapter 4 verse 8. If you get there before me, please read. Yeah.
Whatsoever things that are true, whatsoever things that are honorable, whatsoever things that are just, whatsoever things that are pure, whatsoever things that are lovely, whatsoever things that are good of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think of these things.
So he's saying that it lists some virtues, right? And the Bible has classified excellence as a virtue as well. So he says that all those virtues, you should think on them. Some versions will say dwell on them, think on them, meditate on them. So it means that there are things that you have to aspire to get. So when you dwell on something, it means you spend time trying to get better at that thing, right? So the Bible is saying that those virtues or anything that is excellent. Now let's add excellence to that. Now, anything that is, if you want to become excellent in anything, then you have to spend time on that thing. It means excellence doesn't just come overnight. You don't just wake up in the morning and become excellent, right? You cannot just wake up tomorrow morning and say, okay, now you're an excellent physicist or you're an excellent environmentalist. It's something that you aspire towards, that you work towards. So the Bible is saying that those things, you have to spend time on them, dwell on them, think on them, and meditate on them. Okay? Now, let's look at Exodus chapter 31, verses 3 and 6. Let's see where exactly does excellence come from. Is it something that some people are born with, or is it something, how do people become excellent? Let's look at Exodus 31, verse 3 and 6, and then we'll read Daniel 1:17. If you get there, please read before me. Please read Exodus 31, 3 and 6.
And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship. Verse 6. And I, behold, I have given with him Aholiab, the son of Abi, Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, and in the head of all that are wise as I have put wisdom, that they may make all as I have commanded thee.
Okay, my version, verse 6, my version says, also I have given skill to the craftsman. It means God gave it to him. God gave it to him. It's not something that he acquired. Of course, you can learn something, but you cannot be excellent in anything unless God gives you that excellence. He says in verse 6 that I have given it to him. And then in verse 3, he says, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, ability, and knowledge in all kinds of crafts. So God gave him excellence in craftsmanship. He gave him excellence in what he was doing. He found something to do, and then God gave him excellence in that thing. Okay, so excellence is something that comes from God. And as let's also read Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. Daniel 1:17. Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. Let me read from this version. Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. It says, to these 4 young men, God gave knowledge. The underlying word now there is give. God gave it to them. God gave them knowledge and understanding in all kinds of literature and learning. And Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. So God gave it to them. His excellence is something that God gives to people. Right? So excellence is something that comes from God. And Patriarch says that excellence is a gradual result of always striving to do better. So when you do something, it's not something that comes overnight. It's something that you work towards, right? And as Christians, when we work towards something, God now crowns our efforts with excellence. He says, Patriarch says, when you do something every day consistently, you become better at it and become excellent at it. So it's not something that comes overnight. So it's something that we work towards. Aristotle, I'm sure we all know Aristotle. He says that we are what we do repeatedly. Anything that we do repeatedly, anything that we spend our time doing, anything we meditate on, just like the Bible says, when you dwell on something, think on something, or meditate on that particular thing, you become that thing. So the Bible was admonishing us to dwell on virtues, or the virtues that is listed. Aristotle says we are what we do repeatedly. That excellence is not just an act, but a habit. A habit is something that you do repeatedly, right? When you say you have a habit of doing something, it means it's not just something you do once off. So if you want to be excellent in your modules, it means that you have to study. You have to study them repeatedly, right? If you study it just once off, of course, maybe you will pass, but you will just get maybe you get an average grade. Or if you're a lecturer and you want to be an excellent researcher, if you do something just once off, you may just be good. You'll say people will not hear your name anyway. Maybe you have just one publication. It doesn't mean you're excellent. You have 2, 3, 4, 5 publications. People will say, yeah, he's good. But you won't be excellent. But if you're graduating as a PhD student, you're graduating with a PhD and you have 20 publications, for example, in Univen right now, it's rare even for PhD students to have. There are some PhD students who graduate with only 1 publication. So if you, as an excellent PhD student, you're graduating with 20 publications, the whole Univen will hear your name, right? So it means that you're excellent. Am I correct? Okay. Now let's go on. Let's see what other people think about excellence. Beverly Seals says that there are no shortcuts to any place that is worth going. So if you want to be good in anything and you decide to take shortcuts, you decide to bribe your way through. For example, maybe you are taking a particular module and you want to pass that module, and you decide to bribe your way through. Maybe you pass, the lecturer can probably give you an A or something, but you will not be an excellent student. When you go out of the university and you go out to work, you will not be seen as excellent. You will just be seen as maybe an average person. Yeah, he knows something. There's something he can probably connect wires, but he's not an excellent craftsman, he's not an excellent electrician, for example, or he's not an excellent electrical engineer. You might just be just there, an average person. So he says that if you take, he was saying that if you take shortcuts, or she was saying that if you take shortcuts, you will not be excellent. So what I'm saying is, if you want to be excellent, it means you don't have to take shortcuts. You spend your time on doing what you want to do repeatedly so that you become excellent. And then, of course, we'll see how, as we go on, we'll see how we can become excellent. C.S. Lewis also says that if we let ourselves, we will always wait for this or that distraction to end before we focus on work. People who excel are those who go after their goals while conditions are unfavorable. As students, we always have excuses why we shouldn't study. Maybe they haven't paid the Xbox, or they're owing me this or that allowance, so I'm not studying, I'm not going to classes. You'll down your toes. But if you want to become an excellent student, even though things are not going well, even though the power is not on, the internet is not working, you try to browse and the internet is not working, you still strive to, you go the extra mile, you look for what you can do to still submit that assignment in time and do it very well, not just do something mediocre and go and give to your lecturers. Even though conditions are unfavorable, you still find time, you still look for ways to make sure that assignment is above average, is the best. That when the lecturer looks at your scripts, he will even look for you and say, who wrote this? Where did you get this information from? I'd like to know where your source is so that he can also go read from that source. So if you spend time to do something, you become excellent at that thing. And if you do not give excuses, if you do something despite unfavorable conditions, you become excellent in doing those things. Now, what does it mean to strive? What does the word strive mean? The topic is striving for excellence. So what does it mean to strive? Anybody can answer. What do you understand by the word strive? What do you think strive means? Okay, to aspire. Okay, any other definition? What does strive mean? If I'm striving to do something, what does it mean I'm doing? To obtain your best. Okay. To strive means to make great efforts to achieve or obtain something. So it means that you make serious efforts. Even if there's a wall there and it's possible to pull the wall down, you pull the wall down to make sure you get that thing that you want to get, that thing that you think is worth getting. Right? So it means to make great efforts to strive for something. When you strive for something, you dwell on it. Right? You dwell on that thing. You are looking for, you're trying to be the best in a particular module. You don't just, after the lecturer teaches you, you don't just go home, close your books and go to sleep, or go and watch Man United Arsenal is playing, you go and watch. Or there's one soap opera on Telemundo, you go and sit in front of the TV. You become excellent by doing that, right? Do you? When you go home after a particular lecture, you go back, you open your books and you study. Not just once, you make sure you understand, you read between the lines. You try to study and see. As a researcher, there are times you go to the lab, things are not working. You try the procedure that somebody has reported and it's not working. You don't just get out of the lab and go and sleep. Or maybe you can go and sleep for that day, but you still come back the next day and still try it out. You keep doing it because you want to be excellent at that thing you're doing. Right? So it's something you strive, you make great efforts. You take out time, you make effort to make sure that thing that you're doing, that particular thing you're doing, works out very well. Now let's try to move on. Why do we have to strive for excellence? Why must we strive for excellence? Can anyone help out? Why do you think you should strive for excellence? Why do you have to be the best in your class? If you graduate with an average degree, you still have a B degree or you have a honors degree. You still have a master's, even though you don't have distinction. You still have a master's. So why must you be excellent? Any thoughts? Why do you think you should be excellent in anything that you're doing?
Because the world is competitive.
Okay.
So if you are better than most people, you open to many doors.
Yeah, for example, you graduate from a degree and you have a cum laude. It's easier for you to get a scholarship to study in Canada if you want to, if that's your desire. or you want to, you have a master's with distinction, where people will go and they tell you there are no jobs, they will immediately absorb you. Am I correct? I think that's what obtainable here as well, right? Yeah. So for you to be, it's important to be excellent because you want to be the best. You want to have opportunities. You don't want opportunities snatched away from you. Now let's look at what does science say. Most of us are scientists here. Am I correct? What does science say about excellence? Science suggests that when you do your best at any given task, there are hormones that are released. A particular hormone called dopamine is released, and it makes you feel good. So you want to continue to experience that good feeling. So you keep doing your best at that particular thing so that you keep feeling good. I'm sure how many of us feel bad when you get an A? When you get an A, you go and cry. You go to your room and cry, right? No, that doesn't. It never happens. When you get an A, you are over the moon. You are very happy, right? You are very happy that you got an A, and you want to get an A next time as well. You want to keep it going. You see that it's possible to be the best in your class. Maybe in first year, your first semester result comes and you have all A's. It spurs you to do more. It spurs you to go for more. You now be like, okay, yes, first semester I got all A's. Second semester I can do the same. Or maybe you got a B in one of the courses. You now say, okay, this semester, if I had seven A's and 1 B, this semester I want to have all A's. And then you strive to do more. That's what happens. It spurs you to do more. It can also, that's what I'm explaining, it can create a domino effect. I'm sure you know what domino effect is. When you arrange a pack of cards standing and you push one, that's one that you pushed makes the other fall down. That's what domino effect is. So it starts a chain reaction. You start to do well. When you strive to do well in a particular module, it spirals. You begin to do well in other modules as well because you want that feeling that you had from getting an A in that module to continue. So you do well. Now let's look at Matthew 25:14-30. Let's see what happened to people that did well in the tasks that they were given. Matthew 25:14-30, and also someone else should open Luke chapter 19:12-27. If you are there, you can read, please. Matthew 25:14-30.
For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the ground, in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Verse 22. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them.
Jump to 24, please.
Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid and went and hid my talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine.
28, please.
Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which had 10 talents.
You can stop there. What happened to the person who did nothing with his talents? Even that which he had was taken away from him.
Yes.
God has given us all gifts. He has blessed us with something. We are good at something. What I'm good at, you may not be good at, you may not be good at. What you are good at, I may have no idea about it. God has given us a particular gift. What are we doing with those gifts? Are we working, are we striving to become better at those things? We can see what happened to the man who had 10 talents. He was praised, he made more, he was praised, and then even the one that had 1 talent, this talent was taken from him and given to the one who had 10. He already made 10 more, he had more than enough, if you want to say. But even the one that had just 1 that did nothing with his talent, that thing he had, that 1 talent he had was taken from him and was given to the one that had 10. If you were the one who had 10 talents, I'm sure you'd be very happy, right? You were given even more. You had 10 million rands, and then I came and added another 1 million rand for you. I took 1 million rand from somebody who had just 1 million rand and gave it to you. You'll be happy, right? But the guy who had 1 million rands will be very sad. She's shaking her head, she won't be happy. You may be sympathetic that the person that had 1 million rand has nothing. But it's not your fault. It's somebody's, when God blesses you, it's not the other person who wasn't blessed. It's not your fault that God has blessed you, and it's not the fault of the other person who wasn't blessed. So what I'm trying to say is, what we have may be taken away from us if we do nothing with it. There are people who were beautiful singers when they were growing up. They did nothing with their voices, and then they grew old and couldn't even sing to save their lives. I've seen people like that before. Then now their voices became hoarse. But when you keep training your voice, you become better singers. You even maybe start to make money from your voice. That every other person has a voice, but I'm not sure there's anybody here who has made 1 rand from his voice or her voice. But there are people who make millions of rands from just talking, not even singing now. People make millions of rands from just talking. It's a gift that they've been blessed with, and they decide to strive to make it better, to be excellent at talking, and then they started making money from just talking. We talk every day, we make a lot of noise, but we make nothing from it. But when you strive to become better at whatever gift you are given, you become excellent at it, and it translates into something even better. Right? So, but if we don't do anything with what we are given, in the end we might end up losing it. The person who probably just had a little might even have more. You may not know, maybe that thing you had was taken from you and given to that person. You may not even know. So we have to strive to be excellent, so that which we have will not be taken from us. Now, is there a difference between excellence and perfection? When Susan was describing excellence, she says is the quality of being perfect. But is there a difference between excellence and perfection? Or are they the same thing? English scholars, is there a difference between excellence and perfection? What's the difference? Let's try. We define excellence as the quality of being extremely good. Right? But perfect is something that cannot be improved upon. It's already perfect. It can't be improved upon. And the danger of striving for perfection is when you get to that thing that you think is perfect, there's always something that is better. Let's say you want to wear the perfect dress. You see a dress in a shop and you say, this dress is perfect, I want it. And then you go up, save up all your money to go buy that dress that you think is the best, is the most expensive in that shop, is the most beautiful gown in that shop. By the time you have the money, you go back to that shop and you find that there's a new collection. It's sad. Or you save up your money for an iPhone 7. You keep saving and saving. iPhones keep releasing new versions, right? You save up the money, and when you have the money for an iPhone 7, you go to the shop and there's already an iPhone 8. And you always you want the perfect iPhone, you want the latest iPhone. What happens? You become sad, you become depressed. If you're not taking depression might creep in. So striving for perfection is not what we're talking about. We're talking about striving for excellence. Excellence is doing a little bit every day to improve on what you did yesterday. You did something yesterday and then you think, how can I make it better today? You strive for that, you add that little thing to it. So it's continuous. It's not something that is once off. And if you're excellent today, you might be mediocre tomorrow. Unless you keep working. There are people who were the best in their classes in high school and in elementary school, but they get into university and they can't even graduate. What happened to them? They probably relaxed. They thought they were very intelligent and decided there was no need to study anymore. What happens? You you will now become even worse than the guy you were laughing at in high school. You probably cannot graduate. So we strive for excellence and not for perfection. We should strive to be excellent and not to be perfect. So that's now what can we do to attain excellence? What can we do? What are the things that we can do to be excellent in the things that we have done, or in the things that we have found to do? First, let's read Exodus 31, 1 to 6. We read a few verses, but let's read Exodus chapter 31 from verse 1 to verse 6. We saw in the verses that we read that it is God who gives excellence, right? In those excellence at Exodus 31, 3 and 6, we saw that it was God who gave them excellence in the things that they were doing. So how do you get this? If it's God that gives, what do you do to get it? You pray. We've been preaching about, learning about prayer in the Bible study for some weeks now. So it's time to put it into action. If you want to be excellent in that thing that you do, that you think that you are good at, you want to be excellent at that thing, you pray. You ask God who gives excellence to give to you. It's only God that can give you excellence. So we go back to the Creator, and we ask. Number 2, let's read 1 Samuel 17 to 20. Another way that we can become excellent is by serving. It sounds like it doesn't add up, right? You want to be the best, and yet you go and become a slave. You become the worst. Let's see how that works. 1 Samuel 17 from verse 17 to 20. Can they please read? 1 Samuel 17 from verse 17 to 20.
Now Jesse said to his son David, take this ephah, roasted grain, and these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers, and hurry to them to their camp. Take along these 10 chiefs and commander of their unit. Take along the 10 chiefs to the commander of their unit. See how your brothers are, and bring back some assurance from them. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Okay, now let's remember that David was in previous chapters. David had already been anointed king, if you remember correctly. But here we are in verse 17. David's father was sending him on an errand to go and give. His brothers had already gone to battle against the Philistines, and his father sent him with food to go and give to his brothers who were at war. How many kings will go on an errand to go and serve food? Or how many of us, even at a party, you are dressed, you are very well dressed, and then they give you food and say, go and serve others? How many of us will agree? I'm sure, maybe I will not even agree. I will tell you I don't want to mess up my own clothes. My clothes are very expensive. I don't want any stain on it. But David was king already, and he was given food to go and give to his brothers. He went to serve. He did not go there. He didn't go to fight, but he went to serve. But what happened when he went to serve? If we keep reading on, we see that he saw an opportunity. That's number 3. We recognize the opportunity. David saw an opportunity to glorify God when he got there to serve. He saw that Goliath was making mockery of the children of Israel, and he became vexed in the spirit, and he saw an opportunity to glorify God. In seeking to glorify God, we become excellent. God sees our hearts and He promotes us, and that's exactly what He did to David. If you read on to verse 28, when his brother saw that he intended to go and fight Goliath, he reminded him who he was. He looked at him and said, "Who do you leave the sheep with? You're supposed to be tending to the sheep. You should go back and tend the sheep. You're just a shepherd boy. What are you doing here? You're not a warrior." So in becoming excellent, we don't listen. If we're striving to become excellent, we close our ears to naysayers, to people who want to remind us where we have come from. I know that tiny girl from Pumalanga, or I know that small girl from that little village. Who are you to come and tell me anything here? They want to remind you who you are. But we close our ears to them. Because we know the God we carry. We know what we have asked of God. And we know that God is able to give that to us. So David did not listen to them, to his brothers or others who were thinking that he was too small. But he went ahead, and what happened? He was glorified. We see also in the life of David that he was humble. David was humble. So in striving to become excellent, we have to be humble. We have to humble ourselves. If David had said, I am king, I cannot take food to my brothers, I am their Lord, why should I go and serve them? He wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to glorify God, and he wouldn't have been the great David that we read of in the scriptures today. Probably God would have even taken the anointing away from him, just like I had done to Saul before him. He may have ended up as Saul. But what happened? He humbled himself and he went to serve his brothers. So in striving for excellence, we have to be humble. Let's try to recap. Number one, we have to pray. We have to serve. We should recognize opportunity. We should not listen to naysayers or people who want to bring us down, and we should be humble. Now, number 6, we have to learn and study. We have to keep learning and keep studying. Let's look at David again. When David was tending to his sheep, what did he tell Saul when Saul was trying to tell him that he was just a small boy and Goliath was a great warrior, he couldn't conquer Goliath? He reminded Saul, he told Saul what he didn't know. He said, when your servant was tending to the sheep, a lion came and I snatched the sheep away from the lion's mouth. At that point, he was already learning. God was preparing him. God gave him an opportunity to learn. God knew what was ahead of him, the great battle ahead of him, and God was already training him. His study was killing the lion and killing the bear. He saw the opportunity and he did not say, it was just one sheep. Why would I go after to risk my life for one sheep? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. I have 100 sheep and the lion comes to snatch one. What will I do? I'll even run and leave the 99 probably, because the lion can come for me next. But what did David do? He went after the lion and took the sheep from the lion's mouth. Killing the lion was training for the bear that came after. A bear came to snatch a sheep from the head as well. He went after the bear and snatched the sheep from the bear's mouth. That was training again for Goliath. And then when he faced Goliath, he knew what to do. He already had training. So when we want to become excellent, we shouldn't pass the opportunities to learn or to study. Sometimes the opportunity may not come again. If he had not killed the lion, he would probably not have known what to do when the bear came, and he definitely would have known what to do when he had to face Goliath. So if we want to be excellent in the things that we do, we have to learn. We have to use the opportunity that we have to learn and to study. Like Aristotle says, even if conditions are not favorable, we should still study and we should still learn. Because we have something in mind. We want to be excellent. We know that we want to be excellent in this thing. So even though there's no power on campus, or there's no water on campus like it happened before, we'll still, even though we have not showered, we'll still go and read. Because we know that we want to be excellent. Even though we have to go and read under a traffic light or something, we will still study. There are some of us who there are some of us who had to study with candles. I'm sure Veronica had a similar experience. We had to study with candles. You know what candles are? You guys are what we call agitators, so you may not have seen candles. We had to study with candles, but we still had to study because we knew that we had to pass our exams. So even though there's no power on campus, you will not say, there's no power. If I would have studied, but there's no power. I would have studied, but I'm tired. I've been at lectures all day. So if we want to be excellent, we do not look at the conditions that are there. Even though conditions are not favorable, we will still study because we know where we are going to. We want to be excellent. Let's also look at the life of Jesus in Luke 2:46. Jesus is God. He already knew what his mission was. He knew who he was. He knew he was God. But what happened? He still stayed behind and learned from people. He didn't say, I want these people to teach me, I'm God. I created them. So what did they have? What did they know that I don't already know? This is someone who already knew what he was going to be. He knew everything. Is there anything that God doesn't know? There's nothing God doesn't know. But he still stayed behind in the temple to learn from people. So if Jesus could learn, who are we not to learn? How can we say, maybe Eliezer comes and wants to teach us something, we'll be like, my friend, move away from here. What do you know that I don't know? Is it ABCD you want to teach me? There's something, maybe there will be something that he knows that you don't know. So we have to humble ourselves to learn. I had a colleague back here, I used to work in Nigeria. She used to say she can even learn from a dog. If a dog wants to teach her something, she can learn. Because maybe there's something the dog knows how to back, she doesn't know how to back, of course. So maybe the dog wants to teach her to back. She doesn't know where backing will be useful. So she will learn. I had a colleague who was sitting with equipment in the lab. Where I was working was a lab that had a lot of equipment in the equipment that the school couldn't duplicate, expensive equipment. And we had to man them, to run samples for people and all that, and also train people out on how to use them. Here was this guy who was in the lab before any of us. He was acting as Lord over the lab. He was the oldest staff there. Even though he wasn't the oldest or the most qualified, he was acting as Lord, and he felt too big to learn new things that came into the lab. There were new equipments that were added into the lab, but he had no idea how to operate them. Because he felt he was too proud to go and learn from them, to go and learn from people who knew how to use them, because he thought those people were kids. What do they have to teach me? But he was there becoming bitter when people were getting better at what they were doing. When people were becoming excellent, he was there becoming bitter and was always backbiting. Who is that guy? When did he get his PhD? Was not the one who ran his samples for him? And now he has a PhD. He now thinks that because he's a doctor, he can talk to. That's what will happen to us if we pass opportunities to learn. We become bitter. We become backbiters. So let's take the example of Jesus and of David and learn when we have the opportunity, when the opportunity presents itself. How else can we become excellent? We have to trust in God. We've asked, we've prayed. We need to trust that God can do what He says He will do. Otherwise, there's no use praying. If you pray and you think and you don't believe that God will answer your prayers, there's no use praying. How else can we? Number 8, we have to be disciplined and to be patient. We have to be disciplined and to be patient. We now live in a world where people want things overnight. I want to become rich. But I wish I could be walking along the road, and when I get to the robot there, I just pick 3 million rands on the road. That will be very good. I'll be rich. That's how we want to get. That's how most young men want to get rich. They don't want to put in the work, but they want to get the results. But to become excellent, we have to be willing to work, to put in the work, and not just work, but hard work, consistent hard work. Not work today and then tomorrow I decide to sleep. Or for the next 2 weeks, I worked last week, I should rest. Yeah, it's very good to rest. Rest very well, but also work very well. You need to work very well, and you need to be consistent. And you also need to be patient. You cannot plant maize today and want to harvest it today. It's not possible. You need to be willing to till. You need to be willing to weed. You need to be willing to water every day. You need to water. You don't see anything coming out, but you still water the floor, water the ground. Anybody who sees you will say, this guy is very stupid. What is it watering? There's nothing there now. But you know what you have put in the ground, and you know what you're expecting. But you keep watering. No matter what anybody else says, you keep watering. And when it starts growing, you don't just say, this thing has already grown. Let me go and sleep and wait. Maybe in another 1 week I'll be able to harvest. No, you still go back there to weed. Otherwise the weed will choke it and it will die. It will not bear fruits. You need to weed consistently, keep watering. And then when the day of the harvest comes, the harvest will be sweet. So in striving for excellence, we need to be patient and we need to be disciplined. It's only a disciplined person that will go and water what he has planted every day. I planted some things behind my house and I can't remember the last time I watered them. I want some things to grow, but I failed to water it. How will it grow? It won't grow. Of course, that's still not growing up till now because I don't water it. I'm not a patient farmer. But to those who are farmers, will go every day, they will weed, and they will water because they know what they want to get out of it. If my life depended on those things I planted out there, I will not forget to water it. I will not forget to read. I will definitely not forget. But I know that what I'm striving, the excellence I'm striving for is a different direction. So I decide to focus my attention and my time on those things. So that's another thing. We need to choose what we cannot be jack of all trades. You cannot be good in carpentry and be a good mechanic and be a good teacher and be a good nurse and be a good whatever. You cannot be jack of all trades. You need to choose one line, that something that you know that you identify what you are good at, and then work consistently to make it better so that you can be excellent in that thing. God has blessed us all with talents, some more than others. So we need to identify those gifts that God has given us and nourish them until we become excellent in doing those things. Another way we can become excellent is by helping others to succeed. I'm sure those of us who have taught someone before will agree with me that when you teach someone something, you tend to remember that thing better. Am I correct? But when you go back and you read and they ask you, please, Brother Osas, come and teach me this thing. I don't have time. I need to study for other modules. The other modules that are there waiting for me. You go to the exam hall, there's a tendency that you may even forget that thing that you were holding on to. So you need to help others to succeed if you want to become excellent. If you check, most of the people who are excellent in most of the things, or in the things they do, they are people who have taken out their time. Of course, none of us have time. Nobody has time. But if you take out from your busy schedule to help someone else get to where he wants to get to, the chances that you will become excellent in that thing are very, very high. So to become excellent, we need to help others to succeed. Also, we need to run away from praise singers. There are people who will come to you and tell you, it's not math. You know math very well. There's no need for you to read. I know you are. Was not you that one. You answered all the questions in class that day. When you just go home, just cover your book and sleep. When the exam comes, you won't give teacher assignments. The lecturer doesn't even know as much as you do. You know the questions you asked, he couldn't even answer them. So there's no need. You already know everything. Go and sleep. And then if we take those things that those people have said, we will go and sleep and we will feel very well. It has happened to me before. In my first year in university, my high school, I did very well in maths. I had an A in maths. And then there was this guy who was from the same town. We didn't attend the same secondary school, but he was in the same school with my immediate elder sister. We were in first year together, but he was studying geology while I was studying chemistry. The math module was very difficult for most other people. But for me, it was just something. There are things I had already done in high school before. Because in Nigeria, there's maths and then there's further maths. There's a subject they call further maths. It's not compulsory, but people who think they can do well in it try their hands on it. So I did further maths. And further maths is just like the maths you meet in the university when you get to the university, at least in Nigeria. So here I was in year one, everything in the first year, everything that I was being taught were things that I'd done in further maths. And in ordinary maths, as we call it, I had an A, that's an A1, and then in further maths, I had a B3. So by all standards, I was good in maths. And the guy knew of my results. So when he saw me, he was like, you know maths very well, so there's no need to trouble yourself. Just go and read, just go and sleep. We are the ones that will have to go and sleep in class so that we can understand what they have been teaching us. And here was like, foolish me, I took what he said. I studied, but I didn't study very well. I was studying like, this one, I know it. I know this one. This one. I remember this. I remember when it taught this thing in secondary school. It was very easy. It was difficult before, but I now know it. So that was my study. Exam came. I was like a fool in the exam hall. I knew these things, but I knew them. But I couldn't reach. When you can see something, but you can't really quite place a hand on it. You remember it vaguely. And this formula, I know it. I know this formula very well. But what is it? Is it? And then you end up writing something that is very close to the answer, but it's not the answer. Of course, you fail. And I had an E. That's let my people go. That's what we call it. You didn't fail. but you did not pass very well. It's just enough for you to go. That was the grade I got in maths of all courses. And then I went home to show my dad the results. He looked at it and was like, that was the only thing that he saw. Huh? What happened here? Why did you get an E in maths? I couldn't answer. There was no answer I could give to him that would be satisfactory. I knew what had happened, and I decided then that I wasn't going to let it happen again. So in my second year, I did better. But I'll tell you the rest of the story later. Let's continue. Now, we should run away from praising, guys, and then do not be overconfident. Do not be overconfident. Instead, put your confidence in God. Now, the rest of the story. Second semester, I did very well. Second year, confidence had come back. I knew these things. Chemistry. I liked chemistry when I was in secondary school very well. Now I was doing core chemistry courses. Now I was very happy. These things are very easy. I can even, in secondary school, what I used to do then was listen very well in class, read a little when I get home, close my books, go to the exam when I write, and I still get an A. So I was like, you can continue like this. This is the same chemistry. I'll just listen very well, go and sleep, read when I can, and then go to the exam hall and write. Second semester, for the chemistry modules I did, it worked for me because they were like high school chemistry. Second year came, they were now a little bit more difficult. I started doing what we call physical chemistry. Those in chemistry, I'm sure you do physical. Is anyone in chemistry here? Yeah. I'm sure you did physical chemistry, right? Was it easy or difficult? Was it easy or difficult? Was it easy for you? It was difficult. Most of us, was physical chemistry easy for you? It wasn't easy. And I started physical chemistry. I started facing what real chemistry was. I read as best as I could, was very close to exams. I didn't read like I should have read. And then exam came. My prayer was, God, you know how to do it. I'll just write and please do your part. That was my prayer, a very proud prayer. Like God was my pal. Let's do it again. That's the prayer I prayed for physical chemistry. The results came. I failed. I had an F. That was the first time I was failing anything in my life. I was shocked to my bones. Chemistry of all courses, I failed. And the bad thing, the results didn't come early enough for me to adjust my ways. And we're doing a continuation of that course in third year. 351 then. I failed that one again. Now was this. An extension was staring me in the face. How will I explain to my parents that I went to study chemistry and I couldn't pass and graduate at the same time my mates were graduating? What explanation will I give? How would I even tell them this is the result I got? That was when I stopped showing my father my results. Because I knew what he would say. I called my mom, I told her I failed. She tried to encourage me and told me to read better. And then all that. I was in fourth year. I had a second year course to do, and I had a third year course to do. And I also had physical chemistry to do in fourth year. I didn't know how I was going to combine everything. So I went back to God and I prayed. And then that was when I decided to go and talk to my mates. Then I didn't have friends. In my university days, I didn't have friends. I had just two guys who I felt were even bothering me. Because I didn't like the course I was studying. So I never wanted to study chemistry in the first place. So I was always going to class, feeling sorry for myself, feeling bitter and all that. So those two guys that I felt were bothering me, I had to run back to them and told them, please, what do I do? And then I found out that they had a reading group. They always together at one of the guys' house to read. I joined them. And I discovered that the textbook I was using to prepare for physical chemistry wasn't what others were using. I was using a book that nobody was using. So it was difficult for me to understand. It was difficult for me to understand. But I didn't understand why was every other person understanding when I couldn't understand. Is it not the same book we were using? Because that was the book the lecturer recommended to us. And then fourth year I discovered I was using a wrong book. I ran to the library, bought the right book, spent endless nights in the library, and then exam came. 231. I entered the artist, I could understand the question, I could read the questions, and I could understand what the questions were. That was the start. In the past, I couldn't understand the questions, so I just wrote anything I felt was closest to my understanding. Now I can understand the questions and I could pull down something. I passed. That was the first semester course. The 231 was the first semester course, so I passed that one, but not too well. I think I got a C or something. I don't remember correctly now. And then 351 came. I was reading for it and I kept asking myself, it was very stupid. How could you have failed this thing? The thing was it now became very, very, very easy because now I was using the right materials. So that's another thing. You need to. I was using the right materials this time. We'll get there. I was using the right materials this time around, and I studied. I passed very well this time around, 351. But of course, it was a carryover course. So even if I had an A, the points would be less. That those people from Nigeria know how they calculate GP, so the points would be less, of course. Now my GP was already crying. It was dropping. So fourth year came, physical chemistry. It was very, very, very tough. Remember, second semester I was studying for a third year course and I was also studying for the final year course, physical chemistry as well. And our physical chemistry lecturer told us then that nobody liked him. He was very cruel. He was mean. He had told us then that all those of us who had been managing to pass, he will make sure he holds our tail. That's what he said. I will hold your tail. You will not graduate. And then I was not even among those who managed to pass. I failed. So what will now happen to me? If those who managed to pass will fail, me that failed, what will happen? I knew I was in soup. So while others were reading a little, I was reading very well. But now it was already almost late. But the exam came for the fourth year course. Time was gone. The exam came for the fourth year course, and when everybody came out of the exam hall, people were complaining, but I didn't understand why people were complaining because it was very easy. I was like, why these guys complaining? Are they just pretending? You know, the ones that passed before and I failed, and now they are complaining. They are pretending that it was difficult so that I would feel good. They should not worry, this one will pass. Exam came, I can't remember exactly what I got. I got like an A or a B in 431. And then there was this girl who had never failed before. She used to paste her results on the board. The girl went to the board. I had just seen my own then. She went to the board, she was looking at her results. And then the next thing we heard was a scream. Jesus, I failed. This is the first time I'm failing. But she was crying. I was too scared to look at mine. So I just went, looked at mine. I saw my grades. I was like, thank God. And I started consoling the girl that was crying. At least I knew I was going to graduate. I passed all the courses, the outstanding courses I had, and I passed that one. But so now, let's continue. How do we become excellent? We have to put our confidence only in God. Do not be overconfident, but put your confidence only in God. And also be determined to achieve excellence. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it very, very well. Anything that your hand finds to do, do it very well. If I was listening to, while I was preparing for this, I stumbled on a short video by a motivational speaker. Okay, and there were clips of Martin Luther King, and he was like, if you are a sweeper or if you're a cleaner, you can be an excellent cleaner. Clean so well that the host of heaven will be able to dwell on that place that you just cleaned. Clean very well that everywhere, maybe a cleaner on this campus, the vice chancellor will recognize that there's a cleaner in A block who cleans A block. He will know because you have cleaned so well. I think we're out of time now, so we'll have to rush through the rest. You also have to challenge yourself. When failure comes, you have to pick yourself up. Rejoice that failure has come, because there are some things that you will learn from failure that you will never learn from success. There are some things that failure will teach you that you will not learn from success. So we have to rejoice when failure comes and not just put our heads down and cry. Samuel Beckett says, have you ever failed something? No matter what happens, try again, fail again, and fail better this time around. Keep doing something better. Like if you had a 30 before and you failed, do something better and get a 39, and you know, okay, next time I'll do better and get 40 and I'll pass. Or I think 40 is pass mark here, right? I don't know how it's on in Nigeria. Pass starts from 40. So if you get 39, you have failed. If you get 40, you passed. So if you got the 39 before, strive to do something better. Now there are people in history who have failed who became great achievers. For example, there was Thomas Edison, who was said to be too stupid to learn anything. He was fired from his first 2 jobs for being non-productive. And as an inventor, Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful tries, unsuccessful attempts to make the light bulb. I would have stopped maybe I would have tried for 50 and I would have stopped at 50. But this guy went 1,000, he kept failing each time, but he kept doing it. 1,000 times he failed. And then the 1,001st time he succeeded in making a bulb. That's why we have a bulb today. But if he had quit, we'll probably still have been using gas lamps or something. I don't know what they were using in those days, or candlesticks or something like that. But he kept striving and he became a great inventor. Henry Ford, the guy who made Ford cars, he went broke 5 times while he was trying to start his company. He went broke 5 times before he eventually succeeded. And then the guy who invented the telephone, at a point he felt the thing wasn't succeeding, so he tried to sell it to Western Union for $100,000. Tried to sell the whole invention of the telephone to Western Union for $100,000. And what Western Union said was, what use could this company make of an electrical toy? They called it an electrical toy, and they said they had no use for it. Imagine the millions would have made if they had bought his invention. But then he continued and he tried, and he did better. Michael Jordan said he has missed. I'm sure you know Michael Jordan. He's a very great basketballer. He said he has missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. More than 9,000. And he has lost more than 300 games. And 26 times when he was trusted to take the winning shots, he missed. But yet, he became the greatest basketballer that ever lived. Walt Disney was fired as a newspaper editor because he lacked imagination. That's what they said, that he lacked imagination and he had no good ideas. He went bankrupt several times, and then when he proposed to open Disneyland, they said it was rejected by the city where it was supposed to be sited. And they said that Disneyland will attract only riffraffs. But he didn't give up. Sidney Poitier, I don't know how many persons Sidney Poitier, he's a director. He said, after his first edition, Sidney Poitier was told that he should stop wasting his time and other people's time and go and become a dishwasher or something. He said that was the moment he decided to devote his life to acting. So what is our attitude when someone talks back at us? Your teacher looks at you and says, you are very stupid. There's no how you can be a good chemist, or there's no how you can be good in environmental sciences. When you write your assignments in law, they look very stupid. You should quit, go and do something else. But what Sidney Poitier decided to do was to keep trying. And then there was Carlo Rubbia, who was a Nobel-winning physicist. She said she doesn't believe that she has any special talents. She just believes that she has persistence. After the first failure, second failure, third failure, what she does is she keeps trying. She keeps trying. So we need to have the tenacity of a weed. You know how it is when you weed your compound, right? You remove a weed from a place. It grows again, you remove it. The weed doesn't give up. Instead, it keeps growing, it keeps trying. It comes up again another time. You remove it, it comes up again. You remove it, it comes up again. So we should have the tenacity of a weed if we want to be excellent. Then what are the benefits of striving for excellence? We should... another one of the benefits is people will seek to know us. In 1 Samuel 17:58, after David had defeated Goliath, what Saul asked him was, "Who is your father?" That was when he decided to know who David really was. Who is your father? That was his question. That was Saul's question to him. And then in Daniel 5:11-14, we can read that later. Daniel was sought. They went to look for Daniel. When the king had a dream that nobody could explain, they remember that there was someone who was excellent in those days, whom they had relegated to the background. And then somebody told him, there's this guy called Daniel, go and look for him. People will look for you. And will also stand before kings. We'll stand before presidents. We'll dine with presidents if we are excellent at what we do. We can look at Daniel and David, how they were able to dine in the presence of kings because they attained excellence. Now let's rise, let's pray that God will give us the grace to strive for excellence. That God will give us the grace to strive for excellence in whatever He has helped us to do. Let's first ask for forgiveness for those talents that He gave us that we have buried on the ground. Those talents that we have buried, just like the foolish servants. Maybe we've been given some talents, but we've dug the ground and buried it, waiting for God on the ladder to say, take back your talents. Let's ask for forgiveness. And let's pray for the grace to go and dig up those talents again and begin to use them and to use them until we become excellent at using them. Brother Joshua, please.